What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast. And today, my friends, episode 144 is on the books. And we have quite a bit to talk about post the Browns' first preseason game. So we will get all of the reaction, everything that we saw, things that we liked, things that we didn't like, and kind of moving into the next game here with as the joint practice with the Bills is going to be starting this week. But before we do that, first of all, Andrew, how are we feeling after the weekend? We finally got to see the Browns play. Didn't look horrible at first, and then it just kind of started to sort of slide away when things really didn't matter. But overall, how would you say your first reaction was after game one?
I mean, it was okay. I mean, it was what I expected it to be. It
Yeah.
was just a janky preseason game where you saw a little bit of the ones, you saw a little bit of the twos, and then again, it was just mostly just third, fourth stringers, and obviously the game derailed from there. But I mean, from what we saw from certain groups, it was enjoyable. I mean, there was some good things that happened, and again, there's always positives and negatives to take away from that game. And I know we're going to discuss it here in a moment, but I didn't mind what I saw. Obviously, people are always going to be upset that we lost and stuff like that. And I like to reiterate, guys, it's just a preseason. Like
Yeah.
wins and losses in preseason just does not matter. It
No.
doesn't matter the scoreline. It's again, I said this last year. This is just a tryout for guys who are getting camp invites, guys who are actually on tryout invites and stuff like that. So these, it's not like the ones and the twos are playing the entire game.
No.
Now, if that was the case, then yeah, I'd be like, wow, we looked horrible
Yeah.
and we should probably burn this team to the ground. But this is preseason. 90% of the game was played by the threes and fours and tryouts and practice squad guys. So, of course, it's not going to look clean. It's going to look bad. It's going to look messy. So, please stop worrying about the score and the win column.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter until the regular season begins.
Yeah, it quite literally, like, the final score of a preseason game doesn't matter. And as Browns fans, I think we should know that just because over the years we have been known as like the preseason warriors. Like I'll never forget Deshaun Kaiser helped us go 4-0 in the preseason and then lost every single game when it mattered. So
Yeah.
like there's just nothing to look at in terms of the win and loss. Like
that led to a false sense of security that the Browns were going to do well in 2016 because everyone's like, "Wow, Kaiser looks so good. Kaiser's
Right.
doing really well." And then, oh
Boom.
wow, we lost every
Reality.
single football game.
Yeah, literally reality set, and we're like, oh, this kid is not good, and he's also, well, it wasn't just that he was good; he was that he was thrown to the wolves too soon. Hugh Jackson had no answer, and also Hugh Jackson sucked, and still does suck to this day.
Yeah, not my QB whisper.
Yeah. So yeah, plenty to discuss, some good and some bad. Not everything was bad though, and I think that's the first thing that I want to reiterate before we get into it. But before we get into all that, Andrew, you want to do the honors? We're shouting out the boys at Effortless Wins.
I am more than happy to shout out our boys at Effortless Wins, guys. Check out Effortless Wins for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. The links will be in the description on Spotify and the comment on YouTube. Code JustBSN26 for the discount. Guys, MLB season is getting ready to come to a close next month. And then we have the Holy Grail. We have college football. We have NFL. And then just slightly in the midst of all that, you have the NBA and the NHL. The prime time of sports is coming. So now's your chance to get involved with two guys who know what they're doing when it comes to sports betting. If you want to make some good money for the rest of the year, especially football season, NBA season, NFL, and college football, whatever you guys want to bet on, these guys know what they're doing, and now is the time to sign up and get involved.
Oh yeah, listen, man, it's starting to become one of the best times of the year. Although I would argue October is the best time because that's when basketball gets included. And then you have all of the major sports playing. You have October baseball, which is the best baseball ever. if you're trying to watch baseball as a fan of your own team or just watching it in general, playoff baseball, bar none, the best thing ever. Up there with NCAA tournament, the playoff now with with them, obviously Super Bowl, the playoffs. I mean, you got all of that. The NBA playoffs, all of it is great, but baseball, playoff baseball, top notch.
Yep.
So you got that. You're knee deep into the NFL season at that point, and basketball starts basically right before Halloween is when the first games you usually start off. So you got the best time of the year starting up here very, very soon. So make sure that if you are trying to boost your plays and get better with your betting, hit these guys up. Like
Absolutely.
they really know what they are talking about. We are not kidding around at all. They are the real deal, and they're just great people. So you can definitely trust them too. It's not a scam. It's not it's not some BS. It really is the real deal. So if you're interested, link is down in the comments of the YouTube video and the description of Spotify. So yeah, guys, again, there were some pros, there were some cons, but I want to start with the positive because there was some positive, and the most glaring positive out of all of this was Casey Concepcion.
Yes.
Had himself a wonderful first game. Dude, he looked very, very good. He looked, as I said before we started, he looked bigger than I thought he was. I thought he was a little skinnier kid. He actually looks like he's got some size to him. I liked what they did with him. I liked that they used him in both the pass game and as well as the end-around game. Like, they used him on several sweeps, and one of them he scored on, which was an actually really impressive run where, I mean, this dude could have broke his ankle the way that he had fallen, and he recovered and literally just jumped right in at the very end and got his touchdown, which was the only touchdown for the Browns. But it was for a good cause, and it was a really good play. And again, he looked really, really good. I also thought Fanu looked really, really good. What did you think of the, first round rookies that we had gotten from this season?
So far, I like the looks of them right now. I mean, Fano had a pretty good game. He looked like one of the better O-line out there. Did very well, kept the quarterback upright, and that's all you can ask for him is to keep the quarterback upright. Obviously, the run game is not really much of his forte. I think that's where he ranked. I saw he ranked the weakest.
Yeah.
But in the passing game, he was like, I think he had like a 93% pass block rate. So for a rookie, that's huge. That's positive.
Yep.
So I like seeing that a lot from Fano. Going to the wide receivers, Casey Concepcion looked really, really good. Had the jet sweep for a touchdown. Was able to get separation and make some good catches. Same with Denzel Boston. He was able to get some separation. And again, Jerry Jeudy, I know he's not a rookie, but Jerry Jeudy was able to get some separation and make some good plays. Let's see who else did really well. Samson.
Samson did good. Judkins did well.
Good. I'm not gonna say too much of the quarterbacks because I from Deshaun Watson, he was only throwing the ball maybe 5 yards per play.
Yeah.
So it's not like those 100 plus receiving yards. 45 of them were from just the Samson play alone, where Samson caught a screen and he ran for 40 yards. And I think I looked it up. Watson only had like 110 yards passing anyways, and that was half of it right there. So I'm not going to say anything yet about Deshaun Watson. I know some people were, especially on ESPN, like Dan Orlovsky, whatever, was super impressed about Deshaun's play, and it wasn't really that impressive. It's easy to throw dump screens. And there's some videos already that we've seen from former NFL guys. Like, if you don't watch any of these guys, like Kent Banker and Chase Daniel, former NFL guys, they do a lot of breakdown and reviews. And they showed like Deshaun, who missed like a couple wide open guys deep downfield or, in the middle of the field, 15 yards down that Watson did miss. Yep. So I still question a lot of the vision that Watson has and what he's seeing, because there's been a few opportunities in that game where he missed some pretty big opportunities. But on the flip side, Shador Sanders, his first few plays were all throws above 10 yards, and they were good ones. They were good
Yeah.
throws. He's looking really good. Um, Obviously he had the interception, which from what we've heard, it was due to some swamp booty from the center,
Yeah.
and again, that's what Banker and Chase Daniel both said, that once there's a lot of sweat on that ball, you saw not once but twice where Shador in his step back flipped the ball once and then flipped it again, trying
Yeah.
to just find some kind of grip on the ball, and it kind of looked like it just slipped and sailed on him, and it was the correct read. Don't get me wrong, the guy was wide open. It was the correct read, but they said it looked like the ball sailed on him and slipped out of his hands when it happened, and it just got picked off. So maybe he'll carry a towel or something, and maybe the center can wipe the ball off real quick.
Yeah. I mean, and he could have sweated on the ball himself.
He could have sweated on the ball too,
it's,
for sure.
It's just one of those things where it just happens.
Yep.
Again, I was glad that it was at least the right read. It was just an overthrow.
Yeah.
So you can live with that, especially in the preseason where he's still learning the offense. Like, he's still gonna have some growing pains. It's guys like Watson where you just don't have a lot of patience with.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be fans out there that probably won't have patience at all with Shador either. I get it. Like, we're just kind of ready to just skip this season. I know we are. But the reality is that we can't. And if I'm going to see anybody struggle, I would much rather see Shador struggle through his, things, and yet still be able to possibly pass for, over 3,000 yards in a season, where I just don't know if Watson has that in him. I don't know if he can be sturdy enough to do it. The one positive that I will say about Watson, which is going to be a very far in between thing that I feel like I do whenever I talk about him, as at least he looked like he could run the offense. Like, it looked like, especially the first few possessions, he was getting the ball out a little bit faster than he usually would. However, as the game progressed, he started to hang on to the ball. And, and as you said, that's where guys can see where he's starting to miss these guys, because the minute that he gets panicky and he kind of loses sight of the play and doesn't really, know where to go with it next, he just wants to put his head down and run. And although he's athletic enough to do that, he's had so many injuries that, in the back of his mind, he's going to think about that stuff before he goes to, to take off. So he misses guys, and the difference between him and Shador is, even when Shador will get panicky, he will at least try to step up, at least keep his eyes up. Like, even if he scrambles, he's always looking and trying to pump fake. So again, I can live with Shador's mistakes a lot cleaner and a lot better within myself, I guess, as a fan, than seeing Watson play. That being said, I don't think Watson played horribly.
No, I don't think he played bad yet.
But his numbers are very skewed because of the one play of Dylan Sampson, which, again, was a great play call. I hope that they utilize Sampson in the screen game as well as in the pass game in general. I would love to see him get thrown into a slot every once in a while and just have him just do a little route and just kind of get you a 3rd and 1. Like, I feel like he could be a guy that could easily do something like that. But Casey looked good. Fano looked good. Even Jerry Jeudy actually looked pretty good. Jerry Jeudy was getting separation, and I'm talking 3 to 4 yards of separation in between his guys. So he was beating his guys. And even Denzel Boston, he only had 1 catch. They didn't really feed it to him, and I don't really think he played a whole lot. This next game, I really want him to be like the main guy that they go to, because we've seen Casey. Now let's see Boston a little bit. Like, let's let him be involved, and let's let Isaiah Bond be involved a little more, because I think he's going to be another guy that's going to look really, really good this season, given the chances. But seeing him be able to have a full camp, Judkins was one more guy that looked really good. He looked like he didn't really have an injury last season, so you almost forget that he did because of how good he looked. I'm like, all right, cool. He's got his speed. He's still got his aggressiveness. Still running the same, just as hard as he was last season. Those are all good things. And again, I know Fano didn't really do the best in pass pro, but he actually did some good things in pass pro, and it's only going to get better. Like he's going to continue to get those reps, and he's getting really good reps against Jared Verse every day. I think that's the biggest thing that people keep forgetting is he's getting good reps, in practice, and now he's going to get good reps in these preseason games. It's only going to get better, and even if in the future, down the line, 1, 2, 3, 3 years from now, if Fano ends up moving into a guard, so be it. Guys can still do really, really well in that mode. I think Fano is still a quality top 5 guy for us, regardless of where he plays. Like he is one of our better linemen as a rookie. So that says a lot about the current state of the Browns line. But there were some good things and there were some bad things. I hope that they do a little bit of switching around because the right tackle right now, I'm not impressed with Howard. I would really like DeJuan Jones to go back to his initial right tackle spot, have Howard go down into that right guard, let Tevin Coleman be sort of that like hybrid guard tackle, whatever the hell you need him to do, and then that at least gives you a little bit more depth at certain positions to where you don't necessarily need him to be a swing. Or I mean, if you want to let Howard be the swing, so be it. But I just think you're paying him too much money to have him be a swing lineman. So there are definitely some questions into the depth of some of these positions. Yeah, as on cue, Miss Lola comes in. But it was not the worst sight to see, especially in the first half. Like I really thought the receivers were like the shining star, I think, of this game.
Yeah, and I thought the offense looked pretty decent too. I thought that the offense was able to move the ball a little bit more, and I thought that the offense didn't look stagnant. So I believe that the offense did some of its job. Like it wasn't stagnant much. It was moving a little bit better, a lot better than it did last year. So that could be up to the play calling by Todd Monken. That could be the play itself, again, from the backs and the wide receivers just making yards after the catch, or especially after contact too. There's just a lot of things that there's a lot of positives to take away from this game, and I think we're going to see a lot. Hopefully Shador makes the most of his chances against Buffalo. I know a lot of what's going to happen is going to happen this week during the joint practice between the Bills. And there is that agreement between Monken and Joe Brady where they stated that the ones are going to get a lot of work during the practices, and then it'll mostly be the ones for maybe a couple plays on Saturday. Then you'll see a lot more of the twos and for the rest of the first half or whatnot, like we did on this past Saturday. So I hope more so Shador takes advantage of his opportunity, because I want to see him do well. And again, I just want to see him be the starting quarterback this season rather than Deshaun Watson, because I don't think I can handle another season of watching Watson struggle.
Yeah.
It's killed me. It's burned us too much already. It's time to move on. And I will say this though, if he does play well, then I don't mind giving him a chance. But at this point, there's no more chances to be had. He's burnt through the chances. He's burnt through the rust.
The leash is short for me.
The leash is very short. Like after I would give it 2 weeks. If he's day one starter, I give it the first 2 weeks. If you're not balling by the end of the first 2 weeks, I'm yanking you. Like especially if the game's not close.
In the games that are going to be in Florida, which means you're in warm weather, so you have zero excuse.
Yeah, no excuses. If you can't win those games, one of those games, and go 1-1, or look good in any of those,
right?
I'm sorry, but we're pulling you, because we're not going to waste our time watching you struggle all season long.
Especially going into week 3, which is the first home game for us. Like,
Yeah.
you know how bad the crowd's going to be if Watson's still starting and he's playing
Watson's
horribly.
Watson's gonna get booed heavily. If he's getting booed at practice, he's gonna get booed heavily
That's
in that first regular season game.
that's probably why he's not starting in the game this week, because
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason why is
I think
he's
they
gonna get
don't want him
booed.
to deal with it. Yeah.
But again, do you want him to deal with it all season long?
Right. That's the other
You can't
question
avoid
as
it.
not only a Browns fan, but also as front office. Like, do they not look at that and go like, man, like, this is going to be brutal. Like, fans aren't, we all know how he is. And we all know that every time we try to incorporate him in media, that he's not going to get looked at very positively.
Nope.
So it's going to be interesting. And I'm curious to see what the word is going to be like this week around the camp with the Bills. Because this is where we get to actually see, I think you're going to get a lot better reps in these practice sessions than you will actually get in the preseason game, because you're not going to see everybody playing in the preseason game, where you're going to see people actually playing in these practices. Like, that's where the reps are going to be. So whatever we hear, like if you hear Deshaun has struggled, definitely buy it, because the media has been saying it for years about him, and a lot of the times we get so overzealous and so like almost pissed off, because we're like, man, I'm so tired of hearing this. Like, is this actually true? Like, who's telling the truth? I think they all were telling the truth. Like, if Watson's arm looks shot, it's shot. There's no debating it. And if Shadur doesn't look that great, it's because Shadur doesn't look that great. Like, we just have to take these guys' word for them, because we haven't been proven right otherwise. Can it get better? Yes, but we don't have those answers yet. It's just too early. But I think it's going to be a much more telling week for us this week. And so I'm curious to see what the word is going to be like. But I do also want to go over some of the other cons that I noticed, because as I was saying about the O line and how I want it to be switched around a little bit, I think the lack of depth is going to be a big issue. One of these guys get hurt, and it's going to be a rough season. And I feel the same way about the cornerback room as well. If Ward or Tyson Campbell get hurt, this is going to be a long season for this Browns defense. Like, they might need to trade for somebody before the preseason ends, or at the preseason like deadline, basically, to get another, like, just a guy to back up, like a cornerback 3 or 4. Like, you need somebody that is going to be able to help you depth wise, because, dude, as that game looked on Saturday, the depth at corner is rough.
Yeah.
At least with the linemen, it's just young. Like, there's just a younger group in this, in this room. So you kind of, give them that, but like a lot of these cornerbacks are all practice squad guys that 90% of them, you don't know who the heck's going to make the team at this point. Like, it's just a guarantee of Ward and Tyson Campbell, because those are the only guys that you have a chance with. What were your thoughts, and which room is of more concern for you in terms of the O-line or the cornerbacks more?
I would say the corners, because again, if you need that defense to keep you in a lot of the games, and if you have to put in any of those backups in case there's a Campbell injury or a Ward injury, it's doomed, because they're not going to go either one of the other guys' way. So, like, if Campbell gets injured, they're not going to go near Ward. They're going to go for the backup, because it's an easy target. And especially with what we've seen from the backup DBs, it's not great. They've been getting, they've all been looking like Anderson Dejo or Juan Thornhill. Like, they're getting cooked out there. So I can't stand there to see them getting burnt. So I would rather fix the, obviously you need to fix both. You need depth at both spots, but I think the biggest depth need, the most glaring depth need right now, is definitely the corners.
Yeah. The corners are just, it
It's
looks bad.
abysmal.
You saw the one kid just getting continuously picked
Yeah.
and picked on. Like, they knew they had a clear mismatch, and they kept it up. and they didn't let up. And unfortunately for the Browns, like, listen, if you're playing in fantasy this year, if you need any tips at all, play a quarterback or play a specific player that is going to be guaranteed to go up against that Browns cornerback room. Because if one of Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell are out, that team is going to put up 30 points because this cornerback room just doesn't have enough depth to really compete and really make it easy. However, the defensive line is going to be fun, and I think the linebacker room is going to be one of the deepest rooms that we have, which was last year as well. And once we get Malik Collins back, I think that will help a little bit more on the defensive front. And then the next thing, which is obviously, as we kind of said, the quarterbacks looked mid. You know, I thought Shadur had his moments. He at least was trying to push the ball downfield. He obviously made a play where it was just kind of ball just slipped out. And then he had Gabriel come in. And we've been hearing about Gabriel saying, oh, he's actually looked pretty good in practice. This dude didn't even make it through a series and threw a damn pick. And I mean, it was like the worst throw of the day.
It was way overthrown.
Either team. It was an overthrow by a landslide, and it wasn't even close to who he was supposed to throw to. Like, I don't even know if it was the proper read. I don't know what he was looking at. Probably couldn't see it because he's so damn short.
Also, too, the times he like cowered once the line broke down, he kind of just cowered and just laid on the ground and like held the. It's like, oh, dude, you can't do that.
Like, dude, you're not Peyton Manning. Like, don't pull the Peyton. Like,
yeah, don't just fall to the ground once the line gets broken.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant sight. Over or under him making it through the third preseason game as a Brown?
Under.
I mean, I feel like if a team even feels like he can, I don't know, be a backup, then, you know, see if they'll bite. Because I just can't see it, especially if Taylor Green, Taylor Green is supposed to play in game 3 against the Pats. If he even looks, semi-decent. And I mean semi-decent. You got to have him be his, quarterback 3 over Gabriel. Yeah. Like he's just not there. Because Gabriel could technically run the offense, but can he make the plays? Can he make the throws? No. And that's a question that is going to be answered every single time with a freaking no. So yeah, it's not good. Gabriel looked horrible. Watson didn't look great. Shadur looked meh. So quarterbacks are where they are. But overall, I don't think the team looked as bad as the score looked. It was just they started throwing picks there at the end, and the Bears just started to pick apart the one or two guys in this cornerback room that's just absolutely abysmal that probably won't even get past this next game because I would imagine there's going to be some cuts after game 2.
Oh, absolutely. I would assume there's going to be cuts after game 2. But I mean, again, this is just the part of preseason. You're going to see some guys get cut after game 2. I think that 43 kid who's the DB getting cooked, I think he's gone after week 2 of the preseason. But there's going to be plenty. Obviously, week 3 is when everyone's going to have to cut down to their 53-man, basically just right after it. And then we wait and see because in 2 weeks after that, it's the NFL season. So you got this week, and then you got next week, which is the final preseason game, which I think we play on that Thursday next week on the 27th.
Yes, it's Thursday. Yep.
And then obviously we have the week off of the 5th and the 6th, and then the 13th. That's when things go down. That's when things.
You know what else is on 13th?
Some college football.
My birthday.
Your birthday.
So I'm probably going to get a Browns loss on my birthday.
Well, you're going to get a Browns loss, but hey, the 5th is Ohio State versus Bowling Green. So at least we'll have football to watch that week.
Ball State. Or wait, no, it is Bowling Green that year. Or wait, actually, hold on.
It's Ball State.
I think September 3rd or September 12th, I think, is Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
I think September 12th is Texas.
Sorry, I have to close this door. This freaking glare is getting so bad. It's still kind of bad. but not quite as bad.
Let me look at the schedule.
Yes,
So
it's
we got Ball
Ball State
State, and
first,
then they have the
Texas.
12th. The 12th is Texas,
Okay, so I got that at least.
and then the 19th is Kent State.
Which is funny. You go from Ball State, Texas, and then hi, I'm Kent State. I'm gonna get my butt kicked by 50.
And then that Sunday after the Texas game, the day after, you got Browns versus Jaguars in the regular season.
Yep. And then the season starts, the season of misery. Who knows? Like the Browns can end up going like 7-9 or whatever.
And then it wouldn't be that bad of a season.
Right. But it's like also then it ruins your ability to get a top 5 pick, which is also what you want. So with Browns fans, it's like if you're going to complain about the number of wins that we end the season with, just remember what we're actually playing for. Like you're playing to get your starter for next year, assuming that a guy like Shador or Watson or whoever doesn't step up. And that's just the reality of things. Like the sooner that you get through to yourself that like that's reality and there's nothing that we can really do about it, the easier that the season is going to be and the more fun it'll be, because you're going to be like, oh, like we have a really dope core. Like we got some really good receivers. We got some really good running backs that are getting better. And I think you can even add to that room. And, the tight end room is going to get better as well with Fannin. We'll see what the heck's going on with Royer. I don't know what's going on with him. He has not been in camp at all. I think he's dealing with some legal stuff, of course. But the defense is also young and looks great. They obviously re-signed Ward and Grant Delpit as well, which is huge for them to just keep key pieces like that. You have Jared Verse, who, you're going to extend after this season anyway. If not, you should probably try to just do it now because he's already proving to be a good leader and a good player for you. You have a young core and we all know at the end of the day, the Browns are just trying to play for being good by 2029, aka when the stadium's built. Yep. And it's just a harsh and like dumb reality, but we've been saying this for years since we heard about the stadium getting built. Was like, that's probably what they're playing for, and that's why you didn't keep a guy like Myles Garrett, because you knew by that time Myles is gonna be 34 years old. Like he's gonna be out of his prime. He's gonna be like Von Miller and going to Dallas or just going around the league and just doing whatever he can to keep playing, because he's probably still gonna be good. He's just not gonna be a dominant Myles Garrett that he once was, and that's just reality too. So the sky is not all the way falling. I actually think Monken is going to be pretty solid for this team, and I do like what he's trying to do with the offense. I think you can kind of see a little bit of a glimpse of it, and it's all about how these guys respond. But you at least have the playmakers now, where you didn't have that prior to that. Like you had guys like Cooper, and you had Jerry Jeudy, but it was like a one-man show in the receiver room. And then you had guys like Tillman, or you had like Antonio Callaway at one point. You had, guys like that paired up with a guy like Jarvis Landry. Or kind of, if you want to go way, way back, Terrell Pryor was like a one-man wrecking crew for one season. And then he just fizzled out of the league. The Browns have always just had one guy. They haven't had multiple guys like this. They have 4 quality, like really good receivers right now. Like, and I mean quality good receivers. Isaiah Bond's going to be a really good slot receiver, or at least an X, especially with Jared Judy's out of here. Guys like Tillman could be on the chopping block. I think he's going to be. I mean, he didn't even start this past game. That's going to be a question that if he doesn't play in this next game, does he even make the cut, or did they decide to try to trade him away? You already saw guys like Juju Smith-Schuster today get cut by the Giants. These vets that have been in the league forever, they're not lasting long. And a guy like Tillman isn't even a vet. He's just a guy that's never healthy and never available. And when he is, he's not. But besides that 4-game slide where he was like the best receiver in the league because he kept scoring. And then he got his concussion and was just never the same.
Yep.
Like after that, he hasn't done anything, and it's unfortunate. But the best ability is availability, and we have said that about many people throughout different sports in Cleveland. And it's just the name of the big game, man. Like if you can't be available, you really don't have a say in if you deserve to be here. But um, going into this next game, what are some things that you really want to see? Because for me, again, I really needed Sanders to just come in and take command of the offense a little bit and really show us like, hey, I can do a little bit more and I can play a clean game. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want him to play a clean game, but still play aggressively enough to where you're pushing the ball downfield and you're trying to make plays for the guys.
Yeah, no, that's all I want to is I just want a clean game. I want him to push the ball down the field. Um, but the only other thing that I really want to happen too is I really want Shador to focus on doing the basics well, which is getting into the huddle. You know, the stuff that he struggled with that we talked about like last week or 2 weeks ago, where he has a hard time getting into the huddle, relaying the play, getting out of the huddle, and going through his motions. That's what I want to see him clean up on this weekend, is seeing him do stuff like that.
Yeah.
His reads, he looked really good reading. He made good throws. He read the defense well. He made good decisions, especially on the interception. Again, it was the right read, but I just wanted to see him go clean. Now, doing all that and just going clean. That's all I want to see him do. I don't need him to do anything fancy, anything crazy. Just go play a good, clean football game, and that's all I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
I do again, as I said a little bit here, but this is my guy. So if you're not gonna start Casey, if you're gonna decide to give him a day off, and let's say you give Jerry Jeudy a day off too, please feed the monster that is Denzel Boston. I need to see more of him, man, because dude, the one catch he had was great. He got like 7.5 yards after the catch. Like it was a really good play. He got really good separation. Watson actually threw him the ball as he was breaking back to looking back at him. So he knew he also made the play well, set him up great. And then you just didn't give him the ball after that. So I'm like, man, like I just want to see him more, because that's been the talk of training camp, is how great Boston has looked and how he's looked better than KC. And now it's like, man, if he's looked better than KC in some days, how good is he going to look in a real game?
Mm-hmm.
Like this duo is going to be fun. And I think it makes you feel a little bit better about the fact that, Jerry Jeudy could very well be, a trade block guy, at the deadline. And it's not necessarily like a need because, just like what we saw today, the Browns are doing another like little mini series on YouTube where they're showing like the receiver room a little bit. And Jerry Jeudy's actually being like a leader in the group because, although he didn't play well last year, the guy still shows up to work on time. He's always there, staying late, helping guys out. Like he's at least being a leader. And you can still appreciate a guy like that for a team that needs it, a young team that needs leadership. Jerry Jeudy can still make himself known here. And if he plays well, the Browns can keep him and say, hey, you're doing good. Like, why not? If it's just a one season thing where he was just struggling because he had some personal stuff going on, man, that's fine. I could forgive you. But if they do decide to move on from him, it does make you feel better because you still have the likes of Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, and Isaiah Bond, who again I'm really high on. I really think he's going to be great. He's made a lot of big plays in camp, and I just want to see them continue to kind of feed the monster there as well. But is there anybody else, anything at all that you are trying to look, guys that we didn't see in that first game that you really want to see play or at least play more than they did last game?
I would like to see a little bit of, if he's healthy, Brailsford. Just because again, I want to see the young guys get reps. I want to see the young guys do well. So I hope Brailsford can play. And just to see what we have at center. I know that's a big positional need. So I would love to see what we got there. And I would love to just, again, see Fano go against the ones and play against the bigger guys, just because I want to see what he can do and continue to get better. So I'm more looking just forward for the offensive line in general, whether it's rookies or not. I just want to see the new revamped O-line just do something and do well, because that's the biggest thing that we're going to be needing on this offense, is them to protect Shador or Watson, whoever starts.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I'm totally with you there. I think that uh, is one of the other big keys. And
Mhm.
again, I would love to see them just kind of move the line around a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
again, let's put DeJuan Jones at the right tackle and then slide Howard at right guard. And just see how it goes because Howard can
Mhm.
play guard. He played guard last year, even like
Mhm.
he split time at right tackle and I think left guard. Actually, I think he played pretty much every position on the line last year besides center, if I'm not mistaken. This dog's gonna make me lose my mind. Um, but it wouldn't hurt.
No.
And with how not so great he played in that first game, you kind of just wonder, like, again, a guy like DeJuan Jones played better at right tackle with the Browns when he was first in the league. Why not put him back there? Especially if he's not going to start left tackle, you might as well at least try him out at right and
Yeah.
see how it goes. It's not going to hurt with how much need there is on this O line. Um, so that's another thing that I'm going to look for. I really hope that Brailsford can come back soon because I do want to see him play more as well because I think the big goal for them is to get him to be the starting center and then put
Mhm.
uh, Egton on one of the guard spots. So we'll see what happens, but just excited to see a little bit more of the young guys and get a chance to see some guys that we didn't see in game one. Um, that's pretty much all that I got. Um, overall, I mean, again, I know the score sucked, but
Yeah, we
wasn't
can't focus on the score.
wasn't the worst showing, especially
Mhm.
in the first half. We saw a lot of good things. So a lot to be excited about for this
Yeah.
season, and a lot more to come. So we'll talk more next week about the next preseason game. Um, we'll see if anything else in Cleveland sports happens, and then the following week. Well, actually, next week you won't be here, so it'll just be me
Yep.
solo dolo in it, which is fine. I'm going to do my own episode next week. And then when he gets back for the following week, that'll be our OSU preview since they will start on that Friday. So that will be good. Drew, you got anything else for us before you head off to Myrtle Beach? Lucky.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna keep my eye on the Browns and see how they do during the preseason while I'm in Myrtle Beach and kind of hanging out. I'm sure I'm gonna go somewhere or watch it in the condo
Yep.
just again to keep an eye on them, see how they do, see how they play. So that would be something we can discuss when I get back, obviously with Ohio State and whatnot. So I'm just gonna focus on going on my vacation and enjoying it.
Heck yeah. I mean, dude, you don't let anybody ruin your vacation. That's for sure.
No, I won't let anything ruin this vacation.
Heck no. Heck no. All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week. Drew, have fun, be safe,
Thank you.
and we'll see you the following week. Till then, see you next time.